Okay, after last weekend going quite well, I've decided I'm going to take things a little bit more seriously and actually do a little bit of structured training because I've got a little bit of the hunger back and actually felt pretty good. So for a little bit of perspective, last weekend I held 319 watts as normalized power for 34 minutes and yeah, it was pretty hard, but back in January, I bought myself a smart trainer and actually it was quite fortunate timing because of lockdown, but I did a 20-minute power test and I held, I think it was 332 watts for 20 minutes and it just about broke me. And back then I weighed about 88 kilos and right now I'm 77, so that's quite a big improvement. So I'm going to set myself a goal. At some point in the near future, I want to be able to hold 400 watts for 20 minutes. And there's no real rationale other than it's a nice round number and it might take me a while to get, so hopefully it's going to keep me going for a little bit longer. Okay, so as I just said, pretty keen on trying to hold 400 watts for 20 minutes. And I'm no idiot, I know that's really quite hard. But going off of last weekend, I think there's some big improvements I can make really quite easily. Simply, I'm going to go for the lowest hanging fruit first and see where that takes me. And for me, the lowest hanging fruit is strength training because I spend most of my day watching people pick up and put down heavy things. And I'm pretty sure I can manage to squeeze in a few extra training sessions around work. Because there's no excuses because I'm going to be here anyway, so it should be easy. Okay, last weekend, there was a 45-55 power split between my left and right leg. And when I was younger, actually when I was at school, and I was really quite young, maybe 14 or 15, a long time ago anyway, I ruptured my patella tendon and cracked my kneecap. And ever since then I've had quite a big imbalance in my leg, but it never really stopped me, it didn't really hold me back. I still did a professional career off the back of doing that. And it was something I just didn't really let it bother me, but now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh man, I could have probably been a lot better if I'd done something about it. So I'm here to see one of my colleagues, Liam Colbin, ex-professional rugby player. And I could write myself a program to fix this. But why do it when someone else can do it for you? That makes sense, right? It's quite difficult to coach yourself, and I need a bit of accountability in my life, and if I'm not doing it, he's probably going to shout at me, and that's kind of what I want. So let's get to it. He's going to do a little biomechanical screen on me because I think what I think I can do and what I can actually do are two different things. I just thought I'd voice this over to make it a little bit more interesting, give you a bit more insight into what's going on in my head. Basically here, just doing a little lower body power and strength test. Nothing too fancy, just how high you can jump, and it's just to confirm that my suspicion that there's a big imbalance between my left and right leg, and it's not a positional thing on the bike. I'm not going to cover all the exercises just because I can't speak fast enough and there's a little bit too much going on. But with all of these things, we're just keeping them nice and simple, because the minute you add too many things into the test, it becomes difficult to work out what the outcome is. And that's kind of that. But here, just looking a little bit of strength through range, with like thoracic extension included as well. And that's just important because it's difficult to hold that TT position for a long time. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. And yeah, I'm kind of all in. I'm all in now. I'm committed. Here we're just looking at a little bit of internal hip rotation, and this becomes important when you want to lower the stack of the bars. And this is just another way of measuring it. My internal hip rotation is quite poor because I spent my whole life riding, running, and training. Oh, that's little Ruby. If you like dogs, you're more than welcome to come down to the gym and meet her. There's two others, Big Tom and Rosie, both Labradors. I'm a bit of a dog fan, but back on point. Just looked at a pancake there because I said I've been getting a bit of adductor pain, and basically my adductors, hip flexors are all obscenely tight because I've maybe been neglecting a bit of mobility work lately. But it's good to know these things because now I know, and it's different someone else telling it to you saying it in your head, and that's that. And we're about to look at some of the results with Liam. All right, just finished the movement screen. There's actually quite a lot to work on, but we're going to keep it nice and simple. Liam's going to talk you through it. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit.
So basically, in a nutshell, simplest terms, it's just highlighted that Rory needs to work on some upper body stability work and some lower body mobility and stability. The upper body is more like at end range, his ability to hold positions and some stability, which Rory said to me is quite important for a TT position, so he'll probably say more.
This is really important because remember in that last race I said I started to fall apart when I got tired. If you're trying to hold like that really low, nice aero position, you need to be really strong through the end range because you're probably going to be going into that all the time, basically.
And just by doing this, it allows us to sort of like minimum input for maximum output. So we just quickly checked his range, so his actual mobility is really, really good. It's just highlighted that probably a lack of strength at end range, whether that's his upper back or whether it's the retractor muscles at the back of his shoulders. So in a nutshell, that's all we need to work on, hopefully for that, and it'll get a bit better. For the lower half, maybe a couple of other little things. It's probably a slower burner, shall we say, because he's got to develop some more range, hip internal. His hip flexors are extremely tight, and then the seated pancake, which is more of a way of looking at his adductors, because when he was doing the toe touch, you could get his hands flat to the floor, which says all posteriorly is quite good, but then as soon as you get him seated, no.
That was like an 8 out of 10
bit of a leveler, so straight away it just puts us straight to his adductors. And again, this is a really, really quick, simple way for us to sort of like, again, sort of where we can direct him, because he's busy, he's working, he's coaching, he's doing all the things that in an ideal world, as a professional athlete, he can do loads of stuff, but no doubt like everybody else, he can, at home he's working, got occupation, he can just go, right, this is what I need to work on, this is what I'm going to do, put it together for 8 to 10 weeks, and then crack on and see if it gets better.
Makes sense to me. I didn't say this was going to happen overnight. That was quite interesting for me. I usually sit on the other side. I'm usually the one doing the assessing, and it's quite nice being assessed. Or not assessed, just having a look at what's working well and what's not, and actually setting some goals gives me a little bit of more motivation than I've had in a long time to actually train and race. And I have a full lifetime of racing experience, but when I stopped racing, I went away and did a master's in strength and conditioning. And I think what excites me more than even the racing and the training is being able to use everything I've learnt in my life to try and make myself better now. And they say hindsight is a powerful tool. Like if I knew what I knew back then, well, I'm not that old yet. I'm only 31, and I've still got a lot of time to see what I can do. And I'm racing again next weekend, so that's quite exciting. It's just a 10. It looks quite a fast course. Well, I don't know what's fast and what's not because I've only done one race. But looking forward to seeing what happens then. See you again soon.